Next on Worcester News tonight, cleaning up after Tuesday's wintry mix. Doctors are warning people to be careful when lifting heavy snow. Plus, several Worcester businesses preparing for a busy day as people look for last-minute Valentine's Day gifts. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A few sporadic snow showers around central Massachusetts tonight after the weather we saw yesterday, but it looks like things could be warming up over the next few days. Here's meteorologist Chris Gloninger with a first look at our forecast.
I'm meteorologist Chris Gloninger. Temperatures tonight dropping back below freezing, so if you're venturing out first thing in the morning on Valentine's Day, watch out for black ice. We had a lot of snow melt during the day on Wednesday. Temperatures are back above freezing for most of us tomorrow afternoon. Expecting a cold start, as I mentioned, out the door 22 degrees. By lunchtime, we're approaching 30 degrees, I think, in Worcester. I think with that sunshine, even if we're only at 33, 32 degrees, we'll likely see some snow melt due to the sun angles pretty strong. It's getting stronger by the day. Get a little closer to the coast, temperatures approaching 40 degrees. And then as we slide a little bit later into the afternoon and first part of the evening, our temperatures settle back into the high 20s and low 30s. So coming up tomorrow, sunshine, 39 degrees, 51 on Friday, and then 39 on Saturday. So there's a cold front that moves through. We'll be talking about that, the possibility of rain to close out the work week in your exclusive 10-day forecast.
And people across central Mass broke out the shovels and snow blowers to clean up the wintry mess left behind by Tuesday's storm. But with the combination of rain, sleet, and snow, it can make for heavy shoveling. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now with more on how doctors are reminding people to stay safe. Chandler.
Olivia, the snow is heavy and firm enough for me to easily stand on this snow mound here. And while the snow may be good for a snowball fight, it could also be tough on the body. Bill Butler scrapes the remaining snow from his driveway, the type of snow making cleanup harder for shovelers.
Really heavy and wet.
Heavier than normal because wet snow. It's heavy wet snow. It's frozen a little bit, so it's kind of tough to...
Given the conditions, Butler is making sure he stays injury-free in the process.
Use your knees, bend your knees. Make sure when you shovel, don't just use your back, use your knees, bend your knees.
UMass Memorial Medical Center emergency physician John Broach says this type of snow can cause lower back injuries and joint fractures.
Just today in the emergency department, we've already seen people with broken ankles, broken wrists. Haven't seen any low back injuries from the snow shoveling yet, but I'm sure as people start to get out and shovel more that we may unfortunately see some of those as well.
Broach says it's important to take small shovelfuls of snow and avoid lifting with the back and overexerting yourself.
If you're out for a while, if you have a long driveway, or if you're not in the best of shape, that you take it easy and go slowly.
Betty Padden was out shoveling Wednesday, but the work started last night. Her husband used the snowblower ahead of the freezing rain to make today's work easier.
We'd be shoveling all of it by hand because the snowblower couldn't handle it.
But for people like Padden who rely on a snowblower, Broach urges caution. He says to never put hands inside the machine, even if it's off.
If you're using a snowblower instead of a shovel, to make sure that you never put your hands inside where the snow comes out, because every single year when it snows, we see people who have their fingers cut off by the snowblowers.
Of course, based on the slush, the snow is starting to melt, but if you do still have some shoveling to do, Broach says to take breaks every 10 to 15 minutes. He says this is especially important because when it's cold outside, you use up more energy than you think. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
And while this wasn't a huge storm, it did make for some tough conditions on the road this morning. Monica Medea has more on the cleanup in Leominster.
Cleaning up from another round of snow in Leominster.
The roads in Leominster are pretty bad. They're kind of icy and slushy, but as soon as I hit the state road and this area here, they were fine.
Wednesday morning's commute not nearly as rough as Tuesday evening when slick and slushy conditions left cars stuck on the side of the road.
By the time I got home, it was very icy, very slippery.
Brian Carlson was ready to finish cleaning up the snow in his driveway this morning. Unfortunately, his snowblower wasn't up to the job.
I made it about 5 feet in before it started making noise. I had to check it out and the belt's gone.
Instead, he'll clean up the old-fashioned way. He had extra time. Schools in Leominster started 2 hours late, so his 5th grade daughter could lend a hand.
I like 2-hour delays, mainly because every day we're late, but this gives us extra time. I also like to sleep in, so it gives me a chance to sleep in.
By the time buses full of students rolled into school, plow drivers had already been working around the clock.
We kept them on all night just to keep plowing and salting.
They'll continue to spot treat roads throughout the day, while some people count down the days to warmer weather.
I hate the snow. I'm ready for summer. Are you going to enjoy the snow later at all?
No, it doesn't like me. It's too icy.
Monica Medea, Worcester News Tonight.
The Auburn Fire Department on scene of a fuel spill this morning. Fire Captain Sean Steele says a tractor-trailer crash on the Mass Pike early this morning caused a fuel spill. The fuel made its way into the drainage system, which empties into the pond by the town's public library. The State Department of Environmental Protection was also on scene today as the fire department deployed boom to stop the fuel from traveling any further.
That will absorb any oil on the surface. There's also pads that we throw down, and they do the same thing. So the boom kind of collects it whenever there's a current, and then the pads can soak up any residual. The one good thing or silver lining is down at the end, the ice seemed to trap a lot of the fuel. So where we worked on the dam, that was in case the ice let go, but it looks like a lot of it's contained.
And a cleanup company remained on scene with DEP to finish cleaning up and check on the public's water supply wells. New information from the state's Department of Public Health tonight. The number of people who died from opioid-related overdoses in Massachusetts is down for the second straight year. The report issued by DPH shows a 4% decline in 2018. The report also showed fentanyl was present in nearly 9 out of 10 overdose deaths last year. The Worcester County House of Corrections offers many different programs for inmates to help treat addiction.
One of the things we're trying to do is show them how to live life drug-free and how to deal with the stresses of life without turning to drugs and alcohol to deal with it. This is really a group effort from all of us in law enforcement and community service people. I mean, you know, you have to all come together to combat this crisis, and it starts with education.
And Governor Charlie Baker calls the decline encouraging, but says the opioid epidemic remains a serious challenge in the state. Temescal Wellness opening its second recreational marijuana dispensary today. As you can see, people were lining up when the dispensary opened this morning. This location is in Hudson, and it has 2,700 square feet of space. The company was granted an adult use license for their Pittsfield and Hudson locations back in December. Now to the latest on the deal to avoid another government shutdown. Sources for NBC News are reporting President Trump is likely to sign the new budget agreement. The deal does not include the nearly $6 billion the president wants for a border wall. It does include more than $1 billion for new border fencing. Meanwhile, Democrats dropped a demand to cap the number of beds available for undocumented immigrants detained by ICE. Democrats and Republicans are urging President Trump to sign the compromise.
Please, Mr. President, no one got everything they wanted in this bill, but sign it and don't cause a shutdown.
Well, I would encourage the president to bank the win and then to build on that and to do what is necessary to protect our country.
And the president could decide to go forward with an executive order to redirect money and build the wall. If he did, the order could face a court challenge. He is saying if the government does shut down Friday, he is not taking blame. For some businesses in Worcester, Valentine's Day and the week leading up to it is the busiest time of year. Many spend days preparing to help others celebrate their loved ones and say, while it can be stressful, it's all about having fun. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live now with more. Brittany?
Olivia, these are the hours for customers going into the Queen's Cups, but for employees, the hours will be much longer this week to meet the demand of Valentine's Day. They say this holiday is one of their busiest times of the year. Hundreds of floral arrangements are being prepared for Valentine's Day at Home Shoesis Florist.
It's the busiest week of the year, period. There isn't anything that compares.
Owner Paul Schusa says their staff is working longer hours and they hired additional people part-time to meet the demand. But he says their shop makes what could be a stressful time fun.
We bring in extra people, obviously. We certainly need more drivers. We have 2 other part-time designers that come in and help us at holiday time. And there's still plenty of laughing and joking while we're doing it, so it's not all this high-pressure atmosphere.
The situation is similar at the Queen's Cups in Worcester.
All staff are in, making dozens of orders for Thursday. Front-end manager Barbara King says the snowstorm made their job more difficult.
The snow yesterday put a little kink in things, so it's a little hectic this morning. We actually put a blackout on this week for no requesting of any time off this week because it is one of the busiest days of the year for us.
King says Valentine's Day is the perfect time to get a sweet treat for your sweetheart.
A lot of our cupcakes are Valentine themed, and there's, you know, different sayings on the heart cookies, and the avocado is avocado you a hug.
Scharfman's Jewelers is also seeing a boost in their sales. Sales representative Joanne Schumack says they expect to be just as busy on Thursday.
We have all price ranges for all budgets. A last minute gift buying day.
And for those last-minute shoppers, all 3 stores say they will still be accepting orders on Valentine's Day. Live in Worcester, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.